the election campaign to replace Angela Merkel as the leader of Germany kicked into high gear this week, with the major parties now set with their chancellor candidate. It has been a bumpy ride so far for Merkel's Conservative Party, and it might not get any easier for them. We'll get more now on what could be a historic election for Germany with William Glucroft, political correspondent for our partners DW in Berlin. William, what happened this week that marks it as the unofficial start of the election campaign?
Yes, that's right. You could call this week an unofficial start to the campaign election season here in Germany, the election being in September, because this week the two leading parties in the polls, the CDU, that's Angela Merkel's Conservatives, and the Green Party, a more progressive party, both settled on who their chancellor candidate is going to be, who's going to lead their party into elections in September, and theoretically, if their parties win, become the chancellor. Now, the Greens picked Annalena Baerbock. She's a fairly young woman, 40 years old, with experience as a member of the German parliament, the Bundestag, whereas the Conservatives, Angela Merkel's party, picked an older white man, Armin Laschet, the leader of his state in Western Germany, the most populous state in Germany. And the two really reflect very different Germanys. Armin Laschet, a rather traditional center-right politician, been around for a long time. Annalena Baerbock, something of a new, fresh face in Germany that represents change, represents a lot of new policies that, if her Green Party were to win, could be quite effective in changing Germany rather dramatically. Now, it's important to note that Germany is a parliamentary system. The individual candidates don't really officially matter, but of course they have great symbolic weight as to the type of people that the parties put forward as their faces for this campaign.
So what do the parties' candidate selections tell us about where the parties themselves stand in the race?
Well, it really couldn't be any more different. The union, as it's called, the CDU-CSU, that's Angela Merkel's Conservative Party, with their smaller sister party from the state of Bavaria, they have to agree on a common candidate to run nationwide. And although they are a huge party and an established party, a professional party, they've been nothing but unprofessional in the last few weeks. A lot of squabbles, a lot of internal division. The union is nothing but disunited right now. And a lot of that happened in the public space. We all saw it happen. Whereas the Greens, which has long been a small protest party, they've been quite professional, putting on a united front, a common face to show the public in their decision about backing their chancellor candidate, Annalena Baerbock, whereas there was a lot of fighting going on in the CDU. And that's really reflective of politics in general in Germany right now, where Angela Merkel's Conservatives are very divided, especially when it comes on the direction the country needs to take with the pandemic. And that is reflected in the polls, where there's been a massive surge in support for the Greens, and the CDU, the Conservatives, have been slipping.
So finally, how does this election stand to change Germany? Well,
if the Greens really were to win this election in September, it would be the first time in post-war history that Germany is not led by one of the major parties, the center-right or the center-left. And since they are so pro-environmentalist for the largest economy in Europe, it would mark a huge change in policy for where Germany goes and where Europe goes in a post-Merkel era.
William Glucroft is political correspondent with our partners DW. William, thank you.